some music. Alright. Hello, Crimson. Oops, missed a spot. I think her ass would be bigger. Yeah, fuck it. Let me just grab it. Turn this off. Just make it a little bit bigger. Ignore some of the spots that I don't need to grab. X. I'll just adjust all that in a moment. It can be bigger than that. There we go. Move it over. There we go. And just need to adjust the size of the page. Well, actually, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to adjust the size because I don't want to lose some details. Bring it down about here. Alright. There we go. Much better. And I'll just fix the line art. Let's put some darker outlines around this so it sticks out. Hope everyone's doing alright. And I'll probably adjust the other pick after this one, just to make sure that they line up a little bit better. It's just going through this and thickening the lines a bit. thicken some of this up before we finish up the coloring. There we go. Clean some of this up a little. Alright. There, we got cheeks. Big cheeks. Now to fix her coloring. Whoosh, wrong color. Hey Thunder. Hey Frost. Yeah, she's doing the eggnog challenge. And I should have just did it this way, it's easier. That is not the button I pressed. There we go. Has Rainbow Passion participated in yours stuffings? I want to say yes, but in secret. Because like I want it to be the thing where for Rainbow Passion, like since all of the Creamfield cast indulge in weight gain, that's like Rainbow Passion's like secret thing that she's into. Like she's into binging or binge eating, but she keeps it on the down low. Okay. Next. Make sure all this is colored. Okay, got that. Could probably make this a little bit transparent, so grab that. Oops, wrong folder. I believe this is for glass. Not much of a difference, but still. Hello, Chubby. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Well, Yor basically just learned about all this eggnog stuff, so she's like, okay, try this, because then she'll probably later make it on her own. She just learned about Christmas. Because the gods are like, what the fuck is Christmas? Because you gotta remember, like, all the gods are, like, not focused on a single planet. So, like, they're not solely focused on Earth. So, literally, anything new to them is like, okay, we just didn't focus on this planet long enough to give a fuck. So all of this is new experiences and stuff like that. So because they just never put in the time, because they they have no reason to. It's like you could probably show one of them a yo-yo and it'd probably amaze them for a few minutes. Unless one of them takes it far and like makes like a crazy laser yo-yo or something. Which reminds me, I should probably make a god that either represents all the holidays or very specific ones. Or make a god for like each of the more popular ones. Okay, did all that. Can move on to the shading. I want to get both of the jam picks that I have so far done today. That's the goal, at least. Okay, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Should be good. And if I'm missing something, I can always fix it. I was thinking of changing things up a bit, so that way instead of just having question marks, I'm gonna like have like a rough at least, or like like line art of what I have planned for it. And if the goals get reached, then the goals get reached. If not, then I'm either just gonna hang on to the line art for, you know, like a future art set or something, or even like a future like project or whatever, and save it for that, or you know, just keep it to myself. Or even scrap it, whatever comes first. Very rarely do I scrap certain artwork, but most of the time it's just like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, then move on to the next thing. Because I'm trying to make this a special thing and not just like toss it out or toss it in like a random thing. But yeah, like but the main idea is just, I figure it'd be better to have like at least like a rough of what the idea would look like, instead of question marks. So like whatever the next drive is after jams, I'll try to have at least some line art for either the first 3 picks, and maybe have the other 2 being question marks, or just do all of them pre-made, just to get the idea up there. So that way you're not just sitting there guessing like, oh, what could it look like? You'll have like a better idea of knowing what you're pitching in for. So I think that'd be better, honestly. And if not, I can always just, you know, either save the artwork for myself or put it in something else, or I don't know. Whatever happens. Like whatever comes to mind, honestly. And like I said, like the drives aren't like necessary. It's just if people want it, then they can chip in for it, and if it works out, it works out. They're not canon, so they're just dumb fun. But they do take up time, so figured if people wanted it, then they'll show it through the drive. And for this pick, and for example, I wanted to be where Yor has Jam turn around and showing that the eggnog's pumping up her cheeks. And Jam's not one to really get embarrassed very easily. Like, you have to really try with her. But in this case, she'll be more surprised that her butt is being focused on for a moment. And she's already, like, used to butt jokes from Raz. So it's more surprising that Yor is pointing it out. Yeah, and I'm still thinking about doing, like, guest characters for the drives, too. So characters like, I don't know, like Crystal from Star Fox or Luna from Hell of a Boss. So that way it's not always my characters. Because I don't have a problem with that. At one point I was going to do Roxy from Five Nights at Freddy's. But I wanted to do Jam first. Because I wanted to like get like 3 of my characters out first. And then do at least one guest. And then maybe another one of my characters. Just to change it up every once in a while. So yeah, I'll probably do like 2 or 3 of my characters and then like a guest character. Or like, one that's not from me. Or not my character. And then go back. And because the drives aren't canon, that means I can pick any character and just have fun with it. Instead of being iffy about, oh, would this character be in this scenario? I was like, it doesn't matter, this is just dumb fun. Let's go this over here. Trying to account for any shadows that might hit Jam's face or body. Because it's more of a spotlight that's on her. So that means this should be a little bit more lightened up. And maybe some light over here. Okay. Got that. We'll do her legs in a moment. Trying to get all the easier spots out of the way first. Okay, and yeah, that's not going to matter if I shade it like that because it's a very bright color. I think this would have some light on it. This probably a little bit. Alright. Big thick. Jam's always a fun character to use. Because, she's like simple and complicated enough where I can experiment with her for like different ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, like I've just been experimenting with a lot of things, like with the first auction thing, how it was only how I'd only give the artwork to the winner. That was like an experiment because I figured, I wanted to do the first 10 to go that way, and then after someone basically trolled it, where they won the auction but just didn't I contacted them and they didn't contact me after like I think it was over a week, I decided to take that auction and just redo it as, okay, here's a limited time picture, and I even like tossed in some extra artwork for it, just to balance it out for me, and let people grab it like that. And the same thing for the pineapple art set that's out right now. And I figure that one's better, because that way more people can get it if they want it. And it takes away like the whole having to try to contact the winner and stuff like that and go through it. But the first 10 pictures that I did do for those auctions, I'm going to keep as, you know, solely for the winners. And there has been a group that put them together and, you know, had made their own like thing with it. So if you're able to find them and contact them, then you can probably get the artwork. But yeah, I'm keeping those exclusive because that was the point for those picks, and I'm fine with them being reposted because that's up to the people who won them's decision on spreading them. Because, you know, once you give it to other people and those people want to post it, then that's on them. And I have been contacted with some of them because, like, some people let me know, hey, these artworks were posted, and the only ones that I addressed were just the ones that aren't supposed to be posted. While the ones that are, I'm completely fine with. But yeah, just experimenting with different ways of doing things and seeing what works and what doesn't. And then I still want to work on card game, more card game stuff. Because I still have some cards that need to be updated for the new look. And then after that, it'll pretty much just be new, nothing but new stuff. Because the next art set, or the next card set to come out is, or to be worked on, is the cream-filled one. But I think I still have like 2 or 3 more decks to work on before I should get to those. Or I can probably flip-flop between them. Work on an older set and then work on cream-filleds. Alright, let's get your butt shaded. There we go. So yeah, I try to do a lot to work with, because like I would like to do an animated picture set at some point too, like those live 2D type of styles. I would like to do that, but that takes a lot of work, so I gotta find a good day to work on that. And I know that once I work on like it the first time, it'll be easier to do in the future, so that'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Like, that site, I'm just kind of like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's better off for me to just have those sites be used as like a form of advertisement. Because it's like, you know, if they like my stuff, then they like my stuff, which is good. It's letting people know that I exist. The only times I really care about tackling people posting my stuff is if one, if people are stealing it and using it and, you know, pretending to be me, and then 2, if it's my stuff being posted on the same sites that I use, then that's an issue. Especially if it's like artwork that's not supposed to be posted publicly, like, you know, the stuff that are in art sets and stuff like that. So that's the only real time where I have to, you know, put my foot down. And because it's like that stuff, and then it's like some legal stuff too, because I have to do that, or else if I don't, then I lose my rights, which is a weird thing to say. Because it's like, I made it, why am I losing the rights to it? It's like, well, you didn't do this. So, and of course it has to be within my knowledge. It can't just be like, well, this has been up here for like 30 years or something and you didn't do anything. It's like, well, I didn't even know it existed, for one. So it's one of those scenarios where you gotta do what you can. And work with it. Oh yes, Plum loves her big butts. Plum loves booty. Blah. Words. Yeah, because like realistically, I can't stop every single site that may post my things. Like I'm aware that my stuff has been on multiple sites that I've either randomly come across or just never heard of, but come across it because of like a random search, and I'm like, oh, there's my stuff. Like some of my stuff has been on like Russian sites and stuff like that, and it's just like there's only so much I can do, and plus every region has like their own copyright laws too. Like for example with China and Disney, where China can basically post whatever they want, or make whatever merch they want of Disney stuff, and there's nothing Disney can do about it because China has their own copyright laws. So it's just kind of like one of those scenarios where it's like, I can only do so much. All I can ask for is like, if people like my stuff, then support it. Because the thing that people don't understand is like, yeah, artists or whatever shouldn't get too mad for their stuff being posted on other sites because it gives them publicity and stuff like that. Like that is perfectly fine. But the problem is that after a while, if people don't support the creators and wait for that stuff to get leaked, then obviously it makes less money for the creators, but it also tells the creators that people aren't interested in getting that content or that work or merchandise or whatever, and it'll make the creators less likely to make it, and they'll move on to something else. And that's where the silver lining is. It's like, okay, you guys can wait for the leaks if you want, but if it's not, showing the creator that anyone's interested in this stuff, then they're just going to not make it anymore, and then everybody loses on that end. So that's the part that you gotta understand. Like for me, I would love to support the series of Kamen Rider a lot more than I am, but there's only so much I can do to support that series, because a lot of it just doesn't show up in the West, and I either have to get it through third-party stuff, or unfortunately, find it elsewhere, like find it through other sites and stuff like that, because I either can't buy it at all, or I can only, watch it through, like, some side stream. Because even though the people who make Kamen Rider, even though they've started posting stuff on YouTube for it, they only show you, like, the first 2-3 episodes of the series. And then the rest is like, okay, try looking for it on our official site. So you go on the official site, and you find out that the official site only has, like, maybe 3 or 4 of the series, or the seasons. And it's like, guys, we're on, like, season 35 or whatever, but we're only showing you seasons, I don't know, like, say, season 1, 5, and 7. And it's like, I would really like to follow this series, but you can't. Because they're not, doing it in a way that makes it accessible for everybody. So, unfortunately, it just makes it harder to support it, and you have to do it by other means. So yeah, there's that. And I can understand if there's probably some licensing stuff that's an issue, like music and all that, which honestly if people make music for a particular series, or allow it to be used in that way, then the people in charge of that series should be allowed to, you know, use it for what they intended to use it for. But I understand there's all that licensing nonsense, but all it's doing is just making it harder for everybody to get supported and, you know, make some money off of it when, you know, when they deserve it, because obviously they made it. But it's just a giant headache. So as much as I love Kamen Rider, I have to support it as I can, I guess, to be the best way to phrase it. And it gets harder, especially when certain things that I would love to buy are either exclusive to a particular thing, like let's just say one of the cards or whatever comes in like a cereal box or something. I can only get that in Japan, which doesn't, because that ain't happening here. And then if it's limited time or something, then the chances of me getting it are even less. So, yeah, it's a struggle. And then even if I were to be able to get it, I have to think about like shipping and stuff like that, or shipment costs and stuff like that. So I think they should just make it easier somehow. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I don't know. Maybe they're just not seeing the numbers to support it. But if that's the case, then they'll probably just be like, okay, I'll find like that one thing each year or something to support them, and then that'll be that. Just so if I ever watch the show through other means and stuff like that, I'm at least doing something. But it is what it is. Anyway, sorry for my long rant on that. Let's zoom in a bit. But yeah, if people are posting my stuff, the best I can do is just see it as advertisement, and hopefully people will support it if they like it. Because pretty much the most I can do. But if people are trying to pretend they're me, then that's a whole other scenario. I think only once or twice did I ever see people pretend that they were me. One time there was somebody trying to spread a rumor that I don't draw my own stuff, which confused the hell out of me. I was like, wait, what? How on earth did you get here? That was funny. That was like 5 years ago, I think, when that happened. No, I think it was longer than that. Might have been 6 or 7. Probably 6, because I think it was in 2017. Yeah, it just depends on the scenario, because like one of the situations is where if your work can be mistaken, or if somebody does something with your IP and it can actually be mistaken as the real thing, then that's when most companies usually have to step in, because then it'll cause confusion between them and whoever is making the other content. And because if you don't step in, then you technically lose your copyright, because your copyright ends up becoming public domain at that point. And then that's when, you know, pretty much anybody can use your IP for whatever. Because that's kind of what... Because, like, because I know that was one of the cases with, like, say, My Little Pony, when people were making the My Little Pony fighting game, and the artwork that they were using was pretty close to the original show. But that's when Hasbro had to step in. And the sad part is Hasbro is completely fine with people making fan stuff of My Little Pony. But in that particular case, they had to step in because one, it's My Little Pony, and two, it was My Little Pony looking like a fighting game. So it was like semi making the characters look violent. And Hasbro was actually chill with that, but they have to protect their copyright, or else they'll lose it. So they stepped in and had to shut that down. But luckily, Lauren Faust, who made My Little Pony, the Friendship is Magic version, she stepped in and helped out the people make them's fighting herds. So the main six. So that worked out, actually. So that went from like, oh no, we lost our My Little Pony fighting game to, well, now we have our own fighting game. So that all actually worked out. Yeah. Yeah, because like when Valentine they had to change it because of the Red Cross thing, which is also stupid because a red plus sign is not exactly the most difficult thing to make. But apparently they had just enough leeway. Well, technically I think they addressed it before Red Cross would even address it, so it may not even been a problem. But I think they just changed it to cover themselves. And at first they made it just magenta or pink or whatever the heck the color was, and then later on they changed it to make it look more like a ninja star, so that way it was more unique. Yeah, because I used to hang out with the people who make Skullgirls, so I know the struggles that they've had to go through, if not more. But yeah, like copyright's a bitch. That's all I can really say. Like you have to do so much nonsense with it, especially in the music industry, because music, like with certain songs, people make a shit ton of money with that, but then they get super goddamn iffy about about their music being used in like YouTube videos and stuff like that. That's why it's a freaking godsend for people to make royalty-free music. I wonder how copyright is with sound effects, though. That must be a freaking nightmare. And then, like, the concept for Steamboat Willie is up, so people can make their own versions of Steamboat Willie as well as Winnie the Pooh. As long as Winnie the Pooh's not wearing a red t-shirt, you can pretty much do whatever you want. That's why they have that Winnie the Pooh horror movie. Yeah, right. It's like, oh, I'm going to copyright Rain. I'm like, I mean, I don't think anybody can get away with that part, but with that one, but you'd be surprised on how weird certain people can get away with certain copyrights that are like just unique enough where they can have like a leg to stand on. But like that little detail is so like, really? This is what you're getting us on? Yes, that is a big butt. I hope you like big butts. And if you don't, that's fine. The female form always has something glorious to look at, whether they be thick or flat, or thin, or whatever. I like most, if not all, body types, so never a dull moment for me. Okay, so I think try to shade some more of these. Yeah, almost forgot this spot. Okay, so it should be good. Hippie chimichanga night. Save my stuff. Alright, so I think we're good here. But yeah, Skullgirls DLC, I totally called it. Like, all of the DLC I knew was basically gonna happen, except for Annie. I think Annie was like the let's throw in a fan favorite type of thing. But all the other DLC characters have been characters they've said that if they were gonna do a proper story mode for Skullgirls, then all of those DLC characters were necessary. And I think at one point they were going to put them in the original game before all the initial DLC stuff. But then that's when a bunch of nonsense happened. And then that's when they decided, hey, if you guys want more characters, you guys can vote for it. And then we'll, tell you how much they cost and all that. Because I know the first batch of DLC... Because I think it was from Squiggly to... I can't remember if it might have been only Squiggly, but I remember they said that they did the first DLC, it was either the first DLC or the first batch of DLC, that they did that at a loss. Because they tried to make it cheap enough for people to want to support it. Because Squiggly got funded in like a day. Which was great for the series. But all the other ones, I believe, they did it like on the actual price, on how much they would actually cost. And you'd be surprised how much 2D characters cost. Which is why most fighting games nowadays are not as in 2D anymore. Or they like use 3D models to make them look like they're 2D. Although it kind of depends on how you go about it, because I know Skullgirls animation is crazy high detailed, whereas other games are more pixelated, so they're not as detailed. And it just depends on how much animation, how many animations you put into it. Because Skullgirls has stupid high amount of animation. I think they have the world record for highest animated frames in a fighting game. Oh yeah, their 2D art style is literally what got me into the series. Because I didn't even know what Skullgirls was until one of my friends said, hey, have you ever heard of this new fighting game? I was like, no. So, it was when Miss Fortune was announced. So, he shows me Miss Fortune's trailer, and I was like, oh my god, I love this. And then he was like, oh, they're having a get-together at one of the arcades, so we went down there, and that's how me and him met the people who make the game. And then we just started hanging out with them. And at one point, when Squiggly was still being developed, one of the creators let me and my friend borrow a dev kit of Skullgirls. And so me and my friend were just chilling at his house, playing Squiggly, and just messing around, seeing what worked and what didn't. And me and him also told the creators the suggestion of making Squiggly's charged grappling hook attack to make it go through fireballs, because we realized that it was really hard for her to use that move if fireballs kept interrupting it. So we suggested that, maybe the charge version can go through fireballs, and they actually put that in the game. So that was sick. And then Miss Fortune's second option for her assist, the one where she spins around while she's standing on her head, that one I kept using as an assist for when I played in tournaments and stuff like that. And the creators were like, well, he's the only one making this move useful, so they made it her second assist. So that was funny. The funneling is hot. This is especially... yeah. Like, honestly, the funnel was probably not even necessary for this pick, but I just wanted to do it. Because, like, Yor could just magic the liquid into her mouth if she wanted to. But I thought the funnel would be a nice touch. But yeah, totally glad that Skullgirls is getting a lot more support. Because right now they're doing Season 1 of the DLC, so hopefully that means there's a Season 2. Because I will totally support it. Oh yeah, because there's always been like some stuff that the people who were hanging out with the creators of Skullgirls would suggest and all that, and get put in and changed and stuff like that based on both suggestions as well as like the overall feel of the game. Because like I know Miss Fortune had like a really stupid easy combo that she could do, where she could do her level 1, then easily combo into another level 1, and just keep it going for like 2 reps, I think it was. She could do it twice, and it was just all it was free damage for her. And so eventually they took that out. I was like, okay, once she does that, she'll like freeze for a bit long enough for your opponent to be able to block her. Because it was just dumb. Like it was like really easy damage that you could get with her. Because I think it was like Berserker Farage into head roll into drill, and it was just free damage. And I think she was like building up meter in some parts of that at the same time. Like not with the supers, but like during the combo, she was building up enough meter where she'd have enough to do 2 supers. And I was fine with it. I was like, oh, okay, you guys changed this. Because I was just doing bread and butter stuff. Like, sometimes I would learn, like, a long combo, but now it's just kind of like, I like the bread and butter more. They just keep it simple. Okay, there we go. Let me save and put on some other music. You... Yeah, like, obviously I think they should wait a bit before they do a Season 2. But, hopefully, like, once they get in Marie for the last character, they'll take their time to make the story mode, which probably isn't going to be that difficult, aside from, making artwork for it. And, assuming that any of the story mode voice lines are dubbed. It shouldn't be too difficult because they've already had like the normal story mode where it's just pictures with dialogue. So, unless they plan on doing something super extra, hopefully that's when they do the story mode. Because I remember they said that Eliza was actually supposed to be the boss for if they ever made a Skullgirls 2, so like a sequel. Then she was supposed to be the boss, but she ended up getting in early because of fan voting. And then I know some people got disappointed when Eliza got added, because the way she was pitched was supposed to be that she was supposed to bleed all over the stage, and you would use the blood in certain ways. But unfortunately at the time, the PS3 couldn't handle it, and so they had to change up how her gameplay was going to be. So she didn't get to fight the way... Because it was supposed to be like, I think his name was Carmen from Fate Stay Night. I think it was Fate Stay Night. She was supposed to fight like that. And it just didn't work out. But later on, like pretty recently, I think it was sometime last year, they re-added in some of her blood mechanics. So now she bleeds, but she does like something else. I think she like recovers health when she recovers her blood, something like that. I can't remember if she can attack with it. I'll have to look at it again. But yeah, sometimes old ideas come back when able. Obviously, the PC version could do it, but it was the PS3 version, I think, that held back the original idea. And I know they had to make Big Band smaller for the PS3 version because he was taking up too much memory because he was too big. Yeah, at this point, thanks to, DLC and stuff like that, you can pretty much just make any game continuous instead of just, completely redoing it as a sequel. The only reason why Skullgirls was called Second Encore was because of Konami. Because at the time, Konami was like, we're done doing video games or whatever. And Skullgirls had been taken down. And so, in order for them to put Skullgirls back up for download, they had to sever ties with Konami. And then they had to rebrand Skullgirls as Skullgirls Second Encore. Because at that point, it would be considered a new game based on their contract, or the contract that they had. So that was like a weird fucking mental gymnastics going on there. Yeah, I need to do the little light by your face. There you go. So yeah, Skullgirls has gone through so much BS. And that was before, and a lot of it was before the game even came out. There we go. I think one of the fun things I had hanging out with the Skullgirls people was when they were doing the crowd cheers for Beowulf. They had basically all of the players in one room to record. So that way we could all cheer for Beowulf and all that. So all the cheers is me and one of my friends and, well, multiple friends at that point. Me and the other fighting game players in the arcade getting recorded. So that was fun. Sad, but still think she's fun. Yeah, like Eliza's still fun. It's just sad that they couldn't do more that they wanted to with her. Yeah, Black Dahlia is sick. I like her gameplay style. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And if I can't do the second jam pick on stream, I'll just do it off stream. How long have I been going? It's only been an hour? Not too bad. I can go about one more hour. And I still have Black Circus to work on tonight. Because tomorrow I want to spend time reworking how I'm going to make my streams. Because I want to try streaming on Twitch. Obviously I can't stream the risque stuff. But it'll be fun to just like have like random drawings to draw. Maybe take suggestions or something. Or even just draw like sexy Pokemon or something. Or sexy Digimon. Just for fun. And then every once in a while maybe play a game or something. But primarily I will draw. And then for any risque artwork I'll still do Picardo. And whatever I post on YouTube will have to be within, you know, obviously I can't show like Joanne sucking dick on YouTube. But if it's just a peen, then it should be fine, because as long as it's not being used in a particular way. At least the last time I looked at their rules, God knows if they've probably changed it like 60 times since I last spoke the last 30 seconds. Yeah, I'll try Twitch because I want to try doing it either Monday or Tuesday. Hopefully Monday. That's what I'm gonna spend tomorrow reworking my stream look because like I want to try to make it look a little nicer. And then I was thinking of making a PNG tuber, and I'll probably make multiple of those. Like they're gonna be simple at first, but if I can make them look nicer over time, then I'll do that. But Becky will probably be the one that I start with, since she's basically my mascot. But yeah, just trying to take... Like, I'm not trying to be super serious with streaming, but I figured streaming would be more fun to do. As well as interact with you guys a lot more. And I think 2 or 3 hours can be the limit for each stream, so that way I'm not pulled away from anything major for too long. Because obviously I can't work on certain comics on Twitch. So it'll have to be just for fun hangout. And I just have to, you know, have some safe for work art content, so no showing nips, but I can show the creation of boob. Because then I can just cover it in clothes. I just can't show nips. Maybe some side boob. Also I feel bad because I always feel coming across picky, just really... I mean, it heavily depends on the scenarios for most of the time. Because, like, if a character's losing weight, there's usually a reason behind it. And, you know, like, I can always do a comic where it actually does have to do with weight loss. Because, you know, I like to do multiple themes, not just one. Because I know I'm mostly known for the weight gain person. But I also do other stuff. Which is why Pineapple's art set is more focused on her getting knocked up and being pregnant, because that's just another thing that I wanted to draw. But like that doesn't mean I'm gonna like slowly not draw weight gain ever again. It's like no, I just like varying it up. So every once in a while there'll be an art set or something that's just, you know, something else that I'm interested in or whatever. But yeah, like obviously I'll always draw weight gain stuff, but usually if like a character gets fat, and that has been like the major focus, and then suddenly they're losing a little bit of weight for whatever reason. Usually it's because of some narrative or whatever. But for dumb fun like this, it's like, oh no, just make them huge. Like in Marcy's case, even though I say she lost weight when she got older, you gotta remember she's still huge anyway. So air quotes losing weight really didn't matter, and she only lost it just so she could, you know, take care of her kids. So she's still huge, but in the context of me saying she lost weight, that just means she lost weight from however big she was prior to being able to take care of her kids, because she's still bigger than when she was younger. Because when I say she lost weight, you never see that version of her when she was bigger. It's only implied that she lost weight, so you never actually see that version of her being much bigger outside of, like, you know, some side art. Can I make a comic of her when she was bigger before she lost weight? Sure. Nothing's stopping me. Nothing but time, really. Like, time is literally the only thing that's keeping me from doing everything I want to do. If time did not affect me, I would draw forever. Well, then sleep. If I didn't require sleep, then I would draw forever. So would I put my brain in a robot body? Most likely, yes. If I could clone myself, that would also be an interesting interesting take. Although being killed by my clone is not exactly ideal. Let's do this. And this is not my brush. There we go. That is the brush. Yeah, like the implied weight loss is is mostly there to fill in the idea, like, okay, she lost weight so that way she could take care of her kids. That's like literally the only reason why that line is there. Was the line even necessary? Probably not, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, it was probably not even necessary for me to even say that. But I said it in the chance where it's like, Marcy's still thinking on her own. I'm trying not to make her... I'm trying not to take away her personality just because Skylar got her to become an eating machine at this point. I'm trying to still have her, act the way she would. So if losing weight was on her mind at one point, then that should be a thing that she would actively attempt. And if it was like necessary, like, because obviously, in a air quotes realistic sense, she would have to actually lose weight for having kids and stuff like that. So Skylar could have helped her out on that end. But then, once she has the kids and stuff like that, Skylar's like, okay, your ass is getting huge again, and then there we go. But yeah, like, I can always show like a very final version of like Marcy's max size before she lost weight. I can always do a comic on that someday if I felt the need. And there's still more stuff with Marcy and Skylar I need to do, like Marcy introducing Skylar to her parents and vice versa. So there's still that at some point, but for now I'm giving them a break. Because it's like, alright, I've already been drawing you two for like, what, 4 or 5 years? So probably time to give other characters a chance. Because I know Joanne and Andy and Emerald got shafted for like 2 years. Might have been 3 years. Might have even been longer than that. So... But that was mostly my fault, because I was trying to do too much too soon. But I'm going to be working on being more organized. That will be my goal for this year. But yeah, it was funny. I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, I updated the waking drive with those sketches, and I look at and I check and it's like, oh yeah, the other two got funded immediately. I was like, excuse me, what? Especially since it's already been like over a week or so since the other ones came out. So that was funny. Still doesn't beat Tiffany's. Tiffany's got funded in a day. I'm just gonna say it's a day, even though Coffee tried to cuck her. But if that wasn't the case, then it would have been a day. So I'm just gonna say it was a day if I put the hours together. Oh, yeah. It'll be a bit of time before I can get to all of the Greenfield cast, because like I think I can show it. Let me save this first. Open. Where did I put it? Let's see. I think it's in here. No, it's not here. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? No, not in here. God dang it. This was like the thing that happened last time. I was trying to find it. I know it's somewhere simple too, and I'm just being dumb. It wasn't here. No, it's not that one. You think it'd be in this folder, but it's not. No. Sorry for the wait. You can look at Jam's butt for the moment. Grr, where did I put it? Covered. And why did all this change into this? No. God damn it, where did I put it? It's not in these folders. Oh my god, I had a to-do list over here. Jesus. Digital comics. God damn it. Might be easier just to grab it from... this is gonna get to me now, because now I want to know where I put the file. Not there. Not in this one. Alright, I'm just gonna grab it from the other, from Patreon. It'll be easier. Because I can't for the life of me remember where I put it. Go here. Search. There it is. Save. I'll have to look for this later, but I was like, where the hell did I put it? Okay. So if I open this... Seriously, why is it showing it like that? Anyway. So here's the initial map ideas I have for all this. So, in Creamfield's case, which I need to add in one more character, I'll probably put it in episode 9. But, well, actually 2 more characters. But yeah, like, characters will show up when the time comes, and for, like, the ones with, like, 3 characters, they're just gonna have, like, their own sections, because not everything needs to be in the same story. So that's the idea, at least. And then I Had Secrets is going to be partially rebranded, because I want the air quotes secrets part to be focused on just, kinky nonsense. And then I'm going to call them archives for, like, characters that just have very short stories, and it's more about the development of those stories and those characters and how they got to where they are, rather than solely kink focused. Like, it's still gonna have like whatever their main gimmick is, but it's gonna be more plot relevant. Whereas the secret stuff is just gonna be dumb fun, which will probably be an art set of its own or something like that. So that would be the initial idea. Black Circus, still working on Joanne's thing right now, and then Blake's will be afterwards. I Hat, working on Volume 2 currently. And then at the bottom, World Gates I want to work on this year, because this year is World Gates' 20th anniversary. So I definitely want to work on something for that. I'm thinking of reworking it the way I have I Hat, in terms of, like, showing off characters and stuff like that. And then if there's like any big major thing, that'll be like its own thing later down the line. But I'm still working that out, so whatever I come up with will be what will happen for it. Buckle, kind of in the same boat, but I'm gonna try to put in some updates for that, so that way it can keep going. I was debating on reworking the beginning of the story, but it's like, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to ignore that and just move on. And if there's any corrections I need to do, I can just do it myself as writing in and stuff like that. Tiny Pets will be after Creamfield, so that's when that series will become a thing. And the and more is just whatever random nonsense I come up with after all this stuff is said and done. So yeah, that's at least what this romance for. Close this off. Also glad that I got to the chest there. Oh yeah, it's perfectly fine if you're not into like a certain theme or whatever that I do. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't expect you to like every little thing that I do or any theme that I'm into. So like, for example, if I were to do a comic where the characters turn into a robot, I don't expect everybody to love that idea. All I can expect is, or not even expect is, all I can hope is that whatever my next idea is, hopefully you'll like that more than the previous or something. And if it takes a while for something that I make that you end up liking to come about, then, it is what it is for me. And if, like, for example, if somebody were to just bounce after not seeing something that they like that I've done, then, it's going to happen. I can't please everybody, unfortunately. But all I can do is the best I can. And hope that some people stick around for the ride. That's the best I can really do, honestly. It's not like I'm gonna try to force people to like my stuff. That's just dumb. Oh yeah. I try to plan things out. Like, a lot of the stories that I've been doing so far have been stories that have already been on my mind. The ones that I feel need a lot of work, especially nowadays since I've done a lot with iHat and Creamfield, is World Gates specifically, because that was my main series before Buckle became a thing. And then after Buckle was iHat, and then iHat just took the majority of my time because of where that ended up. And because at one point iHat was like its own thing, and then I decided to make it part of the World Gates' universe. So doing so, some parts of the timeline I put into iHat, but I think I need to give World Gates a giant overhaul, because like, I was working on that comic in high school, so there's probably a lot of things that need tweaking and changing and reworking and stuff that just doesn't make sense to do nowadays, or if it does make sense, I need to still tweak it to make more sense. So I'm likely to redo that series and actually go through the older comics and take what I liked from those and apply it to the new timeline or new canon and go from there, because I know there's likely a bunch of shit that just does not make sense, especially writing wise, because it was just me making that comic for fun. Like, I was just doing dumb fun, whether it made sense or not. So that's going to be a fun time to readdress and look through when the time comes. So, but that is my plan for this year for that comic. I'm going to actually go through and see what worked and what didn't and stuff like that. I would bounce. I've been reading stuff. Yeah, it blows my mind that people were reading my comics when they were in high school or when they were in college. I'm just like, damn, that blows my mind, because that's how I was with other artists and stuff like that. And I was like, I like the cycle, but it's still scary and wowing. Yeah, I'll just do what I can, have fun with it. do whatever themes and gimmicks and kinks that I'm into and like. So they will be fun. But yeah, like the weight gain stuff will, it'll always be a thing, especially since Fat Lovers Club is a thing. So even if I'm not making a comic focused on weight gain, there will still be weight gain content. So that's never gonna go away. Okay, did those. And I'll probably add in more stuff floating around here. Either more jugs or more eggnog liquid to head towards the funnel. There we go. Oh yeah, I should probably do this to her face, just so it's brightened up a bit. There we go. But yeah, like I'm glad, like, because I think one of the most rewarding things from working on all this is like people who've come to me and said that they don't actually like the weight gain stuff, but they like the characters, and that's why they've stuck around. I think that's the most rewarding part of it. And so if I can get somebody who doesn't like the theme to stick around and continue reading the comic, then I've done something right. Is that also the thing? Look lazy. Weight gain is gonna be a thing in Joanne's comic for Black Circus because of the Vor theme. I mean, granted, I don't technically have to have weight gain involved because I can always make up some narrative excuse for weight gain to not happen. Like, I don't know, she takes a drug to stay thin or whatever bullshit. But personally, I'm gonna have weight gain be a thing because that's the idea. For her storyline specifically, because the whole point is that she's supposed to lose herself to what her unintended gimmick will be, because she didn't plan to do Vor or eat anybody or at all. It just happens because of a specific scenario, but that's what gets her, known and internet famous, or gets her name out there because she's a struggling actress. And even though it's not what she wanted, she's too focused on not being a nobody that she does whatever she can to make it happen. And if eating people and putting on however much weight she ends up gaining throughout the story is the result, then she's willing to bite the bullet for it. Right now, in the comic currently, she just now got drugged, and she's about to suck off her client. So that's gonna happen. But the part where she eats somebody is also coming up, and now I'm gonna explain that. So, lots to do. Yes, big blueberry butt. Jam's big blueberry. Do. Yeah, because the initial thing with Joanne is that she ends up doing Vor, which wasn't intentional, but then her new boss, because you gotta remember that this is her. She's still on her first day. This is her still first day on the job, And so when she does the whole Vore thing, the idea is that she gets compensated for it. It's like, look, if you do this, we'll pay you a shit ton of money. And that's where she has to decide if this is what she wants to do with her do. Because initially she only took the job that she's doing currently because she found out that her girlfriend is behind on rent and didn't speak up and tell Joanne and all that. So Joanne's, doing it for the sake of her girlfriend. And so, if it in the mentality that she had is if she has to take one for the team in order to help pay her girlfriend's bills, and she will. But the Vore thing was definitely not on her thought process. But if that means, we get more spending money and more money to take care of her girlfriend and all that, then yeah, she's willing to do it. Jam is my favorite. Huh. Gotta see if she... Hello, Woofy. Oh, lots of people here today. Yeah. I think this picture will be the only one I'll be working on for today. So that way I can work on the second one and then work on Black Circus. But yeah, tomorrow I'm definitely gonna put in some time to make my next stream look nicer. Because that'll be fun. And then I'll also put in time to work on the Patreon poll winners. Because I believe, if I remember correctly, for the Fat Lovers Club, the winners are Judy Hopps and Vanilla the Rabbit from Sonic the Hedgehog. So that'll be fun. I need to start using a different brush for this. And then for the normal poll winners, Blake Dinewell from The Secrets comic won that one. So that'll be fun. That's good. I'm glad you like Becky. She's a bitch, but she should have love too. Her comics is going to be interesting to do when I get around to it. Like I said, most of the stories, if not all of them, I've pretty much planned out. The only things I don't plan out is whenever I toss in a throwaway character, and that throwaway character ends up becoming a main, or gets more detailed. Because Emerald was definitely not planned in the beginning. Neither was Blake. Blake was supposed to just be a goth vampire bunny. A goth bunny who wears vampire tea for fun. And then she was just supposed to be Marcy's friend for advice, and that was kind of it. But then the moment I drew her, I was like, okay, now I have a problem. Because now I like it. And I guess we can do this for cheek. There we go. Oh yeah, I should probably do these too. Excited to see them as the story goes on, or as the year goes on. Yeah, hopefully I can get to Blood Orange this year. If not, I mean, she'll come eventually. Like, I'm not gonna do her story. And then, yeah, I do have, like, other horror-themed characters So they will be fun. Even if they only have like short stories, it'll be fun to do. Because like not every character is gonna have this like long ass thing the way Marcy did. Marcy was definitely a special case, as that is not the norm. Because like there's like a story I have of like a character who's like lost in the jungle or like woods or whatever, and then comes across like an old cabin, and the cabin has a character who ends up fattening them up, and it's like a coin toss between whether or not they're gonna actually eat them or if they end up falling for the character that they end up fattening up and just keep them. Like whichever comes first. Hell, maybe I'll even make an alternate ending where one happens and the other and the other happens. So whatever I'm in the mood for at the time when the day comes. So yeah, there's tons of ideas that I want to do. Yeah, like I wouldn't mind trying to make a visual novel. I just gotta find a good way to do it the way that I want to do it. Or I was even thinking of just making like animatics, like short videos or whatever, and just have like stills with text coming up, because obviously voice acting would be its own chore, or not even a chore, but its own like issue, because getting other people to try to voice something and all that. But like even if it was just stills with dialogue, I think that would be fun. And if I can put in sound effects somehow, and get music I can use, then sure. Like I don't have a problem with any of these things. It just boils down to whether or not I have the ability or time to do it. And let's put lighting over here so it looks like the undies or whatever the hell these are supposed to be are squeezing her cheeks. There we go. Okay, so I did all that. Play the card game as a side mission. That would be fun. Fills me with a mighty need. I know it'll be fun with Blueberry Jam in a later episode, because there's a comic I'm gonna do with her where Raz manages to get Jam to go have fun at like a bar, and so she has Jam dressed up in like sexy clothing, and has her wear low-rise jeans, so it's showing some ass crack, but it's like super tight on her. And like Jam's not really thinking anything of it; she just sees it as clothing. She doesn't think about the sexual aspects of it or anything like that. And so Raz basically just tries to tell her, look, have fun, loosen up, don't be stingy. And get her to drink and stuff like that. And normally alcohol wouldn't do anything to Jam, but Jam allows the alcohol to intoxicate her so she can have some fun. So that'll be a fun time when they get to it. I actually bought that Jam art pack. Oh, you did? I hope you liked it. Jam's fun. She's probably one of my top favorites. But yeah, because Jam along with the other Creamfield girls, they're demigods, so they pick and choose what affects them. Like intoxication and stuff like that. That's why they can just reverse their weight gain whenever they want, so that way they can do it again and again and again and again and again for all eternity. Because they operate on tune logic. And in Jam's case, she usually just wouldn't let anything affect her. But she does it for either experimentation or for fun or whatever the narrative calls for her. Because like her gaining weight in the second comic wasn't intentional. She was just like super focused on sucking on Raz's soul, that she didn't think about anything else. So once she like, you know, snapped out of it, then she slimmed herself back down. But nothing's keeping me from doing it again to her. But there is a story I want to tell, so that's why it's going the way it's going. And take your time, it'll be there unless it's on like some weird time limit thing. And then every once in a while I do like a little sale so that things cost less. Most of the time it's based on a specific scenario or whatever. So like for example, I'm most likely gonna do a sale for Easter or whatever, so like maybe I'll make Fat Blake's thing, or the extra artwork for the comic that she had. I'll probably put that on sale. But if I do like any other Blake thing beforehand, then maybe I'll do that or make those cheaper for that day too. Like whatever happens, because it literally just boils down to what I have time for. I was like, what am I looking for? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm looking for this so I can color her eyes. Because the more I'm able to do, the more likely other things happen. And crank this up to red. See, grab these. There we go. There was a comic in that pack with Jam. Oh, you're talking about the one with the duck. Yeah, that's actually from Tiny Pets. That will be a thing in the future. And there's a reason behind that. Because it basically boils down to what happens at the end of Creamfield. Because in the previous stream I've explained that Rainbow Passion is all of the Creamfield cast combined, with the exception of the BLT crew. But I'll have to give them all proper bios and stuff like that when they have the chance. Okay, do this. I was surprised when I saw you active in FGCs. I've thought of my characters being in a fighting game. Obviously, making a fighting game is its own monster. But yeah, it would be fun. Like Jam would definitely be one of them, one of the fighters. I would say Jam, Strawberry. Like if I was only picking Creamfield, it would be Jam, Strawberry, probably Dragon Fruit, Eden slash Fig, and Black Cherry. If it was just picking Creamfield characters, If not, then if it was using like all my characters, then I would probably just pick Jam, and then one of Jam's specials would be like summoning her siblings to attack with her. So that would be my initial idea if that was the case. I plan on doing more in the future, but I'm trying to like go through other characters so that way they get their spotlight. Cause like I'm fully aware of who my more popular characters are, but I would like people to know more of my characters so that way I'm not just focused on the same ones all the time. That's why some of the characters that showed up in the auction were pretty random for the most part. Because, like, Fun Bun and Bun Bun from Tiny Pets was, like, the 10th auction. Or Watermelon had shown up in the auction as well. Or, you know, Pineapple, for example, for the current art set that's limited. So yeah, like I'm just trying to like go through because I have a shit ton of characters, not only just the characters that I've made personally, but like ones that I've adopted as well. Because I've adopted quite a few characters that I that I see potential in that I want to use for like stories, whether they are the main characters of their own story or side characters for them and stuff like that. So I have a lot to work with. Let me see. Great roster right off the bat. Oh yeah, Mia. Yeah, she would definitely be one of them. Jam being like the Ginyu Force. Yeah. Oddly enough, I just demand Jam having cute chibi dolls of her siblings. That'd be cute. So many characters. That'd be cool to see. Like, if I ever attempted to make a fighting game, that would literally have to be the only thing I'd be working on. Or like a game in general. It would, well, definitely a fighting game because fighting games require so much. If it was like a RPG, maybe I could probably do that on the side if I wasn't too busy with something. Visual novel, probably the same thing. If I have the time, then I would probably do it. Or if I feel I could do something similar to a visual novel, which is like a video, then I'd probably do that. Yeah, it just boils down to time. It just boils down to, like, do I have the time to do it? If yes, then most likely. Because they're just stuff I want to do. But right now I'm trying not to overstretch myself any more than I already have. Because I know I've been bad at that. The dating sim. Oh yeah, if I ever made a dating sim, it'd probably just be the cream-filled girls. Or Cask, since Dragonfruit's not a girl. And then probably have like one route that leads to them focusing on their gimmick. And then another route where they put on weight, because that's their main bread and butter. And then I don't know, probably some darker route or something like that. I don't know. Whatever works. Or whatever I think will sound good. But yeah, like, if I had the ability to do that, I probably would. I mean, I can always probably do that in, like, a video where, you know, obviously you just see where the story takes you based on the route that you chose to watch. And just go from there. So, like, I'll probably, like, put the route in the title or something and be like, okay, here's the weight gain route. And then you just see how the storyline unfolds from that point. Or like I probably won't like retread old material. So like say I make the initial story and then when I put in the alternate routes, it'll like take place after a certain point. And then go from there. So yeah, that'd probably be the case if I ever did it. So yep, the more I get off my plate, the more I can work on. Or if I figure out how to organize my time in a certain way, then I can probably make time for something like that. So that'd be fun. But yeah, like I've been thinking about it. It just boils down to time. And I think a video, because like I'm also trying to work within my own limits too. Like I would love to sit down and learn like RPG Maker and Visual Novel Maker and all the other stuff that I like. Like, you know, if I could make a card game or a digital card game, I would. The closest I've gotten to that is with CCG Lackey, I think that's what it's called. It's kind of like making your own card game, but you gotta like do a lot of manual stuff. So like that, I'm not afraid of doing. But outside of that, I just have to work within my limits. Like obviously, taking time to learn different programs and different skills would take a lot of time. And because I'm working on comics and other stuff, it's just almost impossible for me to really have that realistic time to do all that. Unless I like, you know, got through all of the content that I wanted to do, like finished all the stories and stuff like that, and didn't have any other comics planned, then sure, maybe I'll put in time to work on a game or something, if I felt I had the ability to. So, who knows? I mean, who knows? In maybe a few years, when I get through all the stories I wanted to tell or wanted to draw, then I'll try working on a game. So, only time will tell. That's like the best answer I can ever say, really. Honestly, the card game doesn't do much at all. One, because I need to promote it more. Two, because it takes a while to make the cards, because I gotta make all the artwork, make the cards, have their abilities and stats and all that. Then I have to make sure they're all good for the card making itself. I have to order the proofs for the cards, so that way I can look for myself to see if it looks good and all that. And then after all that, that's when they go on sale. And then it just boils down to me trying to promote the hell out of it if I can, which most of the time I don't, which because that's on me because I'm not doing that, because I'm, you know, focused on other things like the comics and stuff like that. I think the most focus it's ever had was after Kiwi's comic, because, you know, that was literally the focus of it. So it did sell, like it sold some stuff, but like nothing super amazing. Like I don't even know if it'll tell me the stats. Let me see. Sign in. Like I don't think it'll tell me how many actual sales I got, but I can try to check. Shop my games. That is not what I was looking for. Here we go. Let's see, Kiwi's set. So because I think it counts how many. It counts if I bought anything. So if it did, then it sold 7. If I'm looking at this correctly. So yeah, if it assuming that's not counting the one I bought just to check the proof and all that, then it sold 7. If it didn't, then it sold 8. You do want to draw, Jam? Yeah, have fun. Go ahead. Hey folks, just about. Hey, Alex. Yeah, working on the first jam drive pick. Almost done. I'm thinking of adding in like floating eggnog to head towards the funnel, just so to add a little bit more to this. If I do that, it'll probably be off stream. Okay, I think I got what I wanted with you. Yes. Okay. Turn that off. Get closer for a moment. There we go. And I will still have her on the stage, but that's why I'm having her be turned around. Oh yeah, I can just get rid of some of this that I don't need. There we go. Alright, you have a good night. Jam keeps getting better and better. Yeah, I don't have a problem with fan art. Don't know when especially. Yeah, just take your time when it comes. Okay, so let me grab this one's background. And we'll have to adjust it. Shouldn't be too much that I actually have to do. So, just take this one thing at a time. Here, let me grab what I think I need. Okay. The rest of this is black, which you can't see anyway. Cool. This is here. That should be fine. I probably don't need to change. Let me look closer. Yeah, we should be fine. This I do need. Go. Any idea who would be the next? Well, since I've done 3 of my characters, I'm thinking about doing a fan character or another like a guest character, so like any other character that's not mine. I might do a voting thing on Patreon for it, so that way it'll be a character others want to see, but I think I'll be the one that's picking the list for it, so that way it doesn't get all crazy. And it also won't take too long to do it. I'll have to erase some of this and add some of it, so put that here. So yeah, I think I'll choose the list, but I'll let the subscribers pick and choose who it's going to be, and then go from there. If you remember, one pick hit that Becky game over there. Oh yeah, I remember that pick, of course. Yeah, that pick was fun. Because Becky can't help it. Her genes are weird. She's like 14 animals put together. It was either 14 or 17. Either way, it's more than like 3. I would say 3 is probably like the norm in her world. 4 is kind of pushing it. You. Cancel. It is your fault. Actually, I don't need to do that. I just need to push it down. There we go. Yes, that is how thorough I try to be with this shit. Something that you may not even notice, and I'll be like, no, I need to fix it because they might see. I try to be better about that. I try to not spaz out about certain details that don't need to be addressed. Where it's like, oh no, this line art wasn't completely black or shaded or filled in this particular spot. And then it's like, just leave it alone. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. Let me see your placement in the other ones. Nah, this is fine. We're more focused on her butt anyway. Overlay. I think this one's on 70? Let me check. Yes. There we go. Okay. Well, I will say for the moment this is done, but there's still a few things I want to add to it, but I think I'm going to do that off stream. Yeah, it's already almost 2 hours. But yeah, this is almost done. It shouldn't be too much longer for me to finish it off. All I really got to do is just add in some more eggnog, just so it's not just the 2 jugs and the funnel, because I think I'll just have like floating liquid heading towards the funnel, and maybe swirl around her if I feel like it. There's gonna be like some effects, like magical stuff, just so I can have Yorjidov still being an influence. Obviously dialogue, because there's still gonna be Yor talking. And that's pretty much it for this. It'll be up soon. Let me see. Life of an artist. Two negatives of all. Meanwhile, you like the best. Oh, thanks. My shading is interesting because like I hate shading. I mean, I kind of hate coloring, but at least coloring is like, all right, I don't have to shade. But I hate shading, so I kind of made my own way of shading, so that way I could cut time on shading. So I did it in a way to be time efficient, if possible. Oh, a glimpse of part 4? Yeah, sure, I'll show that. I'll show that before I get off. Because it's going to be up anyway, so no reason to not show it. Part 4, there you are. Well, technically part 3, because part 0 is 1. So this will be the next one after this. I'm thinking about making the belly bigger, because I'm all debating on that if it's too small. But then there's still part 4 and part 5. And I think for part 4, I'm debating because there's two, because I still want to show her butt again. I'm just debating on if I want it to be part 4 or part 5. I might do it for part 5 because of the idea I have for the ending of this, and because I still want to have her butt be another focus. So we'll see. If not, it'll be part 4 because it just depends on the narrative that I'm going for. But yeah, I'll be working on this one tonight still as well. But yeah, this is pretty much done, but there's still more stuff I want to add to it before I post it. And then there will be the one with dialogue and one without dialogue. And if I do too much and like I put stuff in the way of her butt or something like that, then I'll just make another version that doesn't have the distracting elements from her butt. But yeah, that's it for tonight. I'm still gonna work on stuff. I'm just gonna take like a small break and then come back to it. When it's ready, I'll post it, of course, and then I'll get to working on the next part. Like I said, I want to try to stream either Monday or Tuesday, and I'm gonna put time into trying to make my stream look nicer and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to stream on Twitch. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I had a good time, and damn, there's a lot of you in here. But yeah, I'll be sure to post when I stream again, and these pics will definitely be up when they're ready. So yeah, thank you for coming, and I will see you guys next time. And off.